Thank you. As I went over to Howard, his last parting words were, "Be nice." Okay? That should be the worst thing, okay? Good evening, and thank you, Joe, for that lovely introduction. And how about, again, we acknowledge all of our 4 Youth of the Year winners. Wish them nothing but the best, as I know they are all determined to make a difference, and I'm extremely confident that they will. I could probably take the rest of the program to tell you about Howard Muser, our 2013 Champion of Youth. But don't worry, I only have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left before this mic gets shut off, all right? And that's really. I've known Howard for over 10 years, and I think you can see by the number of people that have attended this function, one could say that he has a rock star appeal. All right? I do want to quote someone, and it's not you. Winston Churchill once said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." Well, Howard Muser is exactly that person. I've met a lot of people during my career, but I've never met anyone like Howard. I know many people are wonderful, kind, generous, caring, family-oriented, ethical, trustworthy, and genuine. But the reality is, most or very few actually have all of these qualities together. But Howard does. When I approached Howard about this award, the first thing he said to me, was, "How can I help?" Okay, not, "I don't want to do it," because that's like what I would have said. Okay, how can I help? Okay, what can I do to make this better so we can raise a lot of money for kids? Very, very simple. I've gotten to know Howard's lovely family, his wife Fran, okay, his 3 kids, and they are all the same. He's got 5 grandkids. Okay, someday he's expecting 12, so no pressure amongst the group here. But they are all so kind and genuine that if you haven't had the opportunity to meet him, read his biography, because it is the truth. Many years ago, Barbra Streisand sang a song called "People." I thought the following lines were the perfect way to close my introduction for Howard. People who need people are the luckiest people in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the luckiest people having Howard Muser accept this award.
A little overwhelmed, so forgive me. I also can't see without my glasses. Scott, I can't thank you for the kind words. I know for the last 2 months you've been harassing me that you were going to tell all kinds of stories, but I was nervous. The grandkids were here, but thank you for not. And I also want to thank you for introducing me to the Madison Square Boys and Girls Club. Wow, this night is one for the ages. I did not realize my wife had so many friends and supporters. Where are our 4 honorees tonight? I know we asked before, but I didn't see them. Where are they? Would they please stand? Could you all join me in a round of applause? I am so honored to be sharing the stage with you this evening. You young adults represent the best of what this organization is all about. As teenagers, you have already realized what many of us don't put together until adulthood, that life's ultimate joys come through service and hard work. You are stars, and I can't wait to hear of your future accomplishments. And Mayor Booker, the same could be said of you. I only regret that you didn't bring Mark Zuckerberg with his checkbook. But you should be happy. There's over 100 people from New Jersey here tonight. When I said earlier that Scott introduced me to the club, it actually was a reintroduction. When I was a teenager at Erasmus Hall High School, my friends and I would play basketball at the Thomas S. Murphy Clubhouse across the street. I didn't know that this was part of the Boys and Girls Club at the time. I just knew that Billy Cunningham, who was known as the Kangaroo Kid, shot hoops there every afternoon before going to the NBA and Hall of Fame. I wanted to be just like him. After all, my mother told me I had everything he had. Talent, personality, ability, but unfortunately I lacked height. So like our young honorees, I began to dream, big dreams, while playing sports at the club. But I didn't understand at that time how this organization, giving the neighborhood kids a safe environment to play and to learn, actually had a larger purpose. That came later. I want to get a little personal for a moment. I want to fast forward to 1967. I was a 21-year-old in the 1st Air Cavalry Division during the Vietnam War. In September of that year, I joined with 800 Jewish troops that had been transported to an Air Force base near Saigon for the first day of high holiday services. It was beyond hot, and we were in full combat gear with fully loaded weapons and packed into an open airplane hangar. But I must tell you, for the first time, I was thrilled that I was at religious services. The rabbi delivered a great sermon, a moving story of 2 children who lost both their parents in Israel during the Six-Day War 3 months earlier. One might think that we would have shut down after hearing that sad story while being in a combat zone ourselves. But instead, an interesting thing occurred. During lunch, out of nowhere, no one said anything. Helmets were being passed around. It was incredible. Over $15,000 was collected for these 2 children who lost both their parents through no fault of their own. To me personally, it was more moving and more powerful than any of these services I had ever been to. So in many ways, throughout my life, I've tried to walk in the footsteps of those GIs who started the collection. Whether through work with my temple, the building of the Fran and Howard Muser Religious School, different initiatives with my company Sign Masters, with my partners John and Michael. It's really been a pleasure to have a new partnership with the club. To my wife, Franny, who still after 38 years takes my breath away, it is because of your unconditional love and support in all of my endeavors that I am receiving this award tonight. I love you. To my children, Andy, Elise, Mark, who with their spouses, and my grandchildren give me little miracles every single day. I'd like to recognize all those on the board and staff at the Madison Square Boys and Girls Club for the inspiring work they do year-round to give kids the courage to dream and a fun, safe place to do it in. My friends, no one has ever become poor by giving, and I offer you my deepest thanks for making me rich in all of the ways that really matter. Thank you again.
Let's move on a little bit. Okay. Great.